Herzlich willkommen zum 36. DOK.fest München. DOK.fest Munich at Home. Ich bin hier im Silbersaal des Deutschen Theaters. Normalerweise würden wir hier ein Kino aufbauen. Das geht jetzt leider in diesem Jahr nicht, aber wenigstens haben wir hier unsere Publikumsgespräche bzw. unsere Regiegespräche und auch das Festivalzentrum. Welcome to the 36th DOK.fest Munich. I'm very happy to have a film talk with the directors and producers from Wandering, a Rohingya, jetzt habe ich schon wieder falsch gesagt, Wandering, a Rohingya Story. Ich glaube, ich muss nochmal anfangen. Okay. Ich muss überlegen, wann ich auf Englisch switche. Ich habe mich noch gar nicht vorgestellt, genau, wir machen es nochmal. Herzlich willkommen zum 36. DOK.fest München, DOK.fest Munich at Home 2021, die Online-Edition unseres Festivals. Wir sind hier im Silbersaal des Deutschen Theaters. Normalerweise wäre hier ein zweiter Kinosaal aufgebaut. Das ist jetzt dieses Jahr nicht so, aber dafür haben wir hier unsere Gespräche mit den Regisseuren aus den Filmen. Mein Name ist Isabelle Fontoux und ich bin ein Teil des Programmers- und Autorinnen-Teams beim DOK.fest und freue mich sehr, dass ich heute das Gespräch hier führen darf. Welcome to DOK.fest Munich, the 36th edition. DOK.fest Munich at Home 2021, the online edition of our festival. I'm very happy to announce that the film Wandering, a Rohingya Story by Canadian filmmakers Mélanie and Olivier Higgins is part of our program. It's a production from Canada, which we show at DOK.fest as a German premiere in the Best of Fest section. I'm very happy that we can have a talk with the filmmakers, but before we do this, I want to announce the Audience Award, which is donated by BR and Dreisat. And so please vote for the Audience Award. If you like the film, just go on the program page and there you can vote for it. And now, I'm very happy to, and I'm very proud to present you the two directors and producers, Mélanie and Olivier Higgins. Welcome to DOK.fest Munich, Mélanie and Olivier.
Hello, and thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. It's very touching to be able to do this in the distance, even with the pandemic situation right now. We feel like we are with you, so we are very proud to be here with you.
So I guess it's a bit the same situation as we have in Germany at the moment, so you're quite restricted to staying at home and you're working from your home, or how is the situation for you at the moment?
Yeah, at the moment it's pretty strict, and it's homeschooling, so our kid is downstairs doing his homework at the moment. He's in grade 2, so yeah.
We cannot move. We have to stay home, work from home. Yeah.
Okay. So we're really happy that we can have a talk with you now, because I think there are a lot of questions when concerning your film. And the first question is, of course, that how did you get the idea to make a film about the Rohingya, and how did you get the idea to go to the camp and shoot there?
So it's a photographer named Renaud Philippe, who's living here too in Quebec City, and we were following him for many years, and he is documenting a refugee camp and human crisis for maybe 10, 15 years now. And in February 2018, he just wrote a post on Facebook and with a picture, and he said, I'm in Kutupalong camp, Rohingya refugee Kutupalong camp right now, and I have never seen something as bad as this situation. And when I saw this, I was like, oh my God, okay, if Renaud Philippe has never seen anything like this, it has to be really, really, I don't know, a huge situation, you know, and I was amazed because here in Quebec, Canada, like the news, they were not talking about it at all. So we just had the sense that we needed to do something about that. It was kind of an insight. I don't know, it's an instinct or.
Yeah, so we thought to propose Renaud to work together, you know, to unite our forces And at first we just wanted to make something, you know. So it was the idea of going there and maybe do a short film. So we left without any plan, any budget, with a scenario, but you know, so we left, me and Renaud, like in October, for the camp, and so he joined us for the direction of photography of the film.
Okay, so you contacted him, and he was in Kutupalong camp, and you went there to meet him there, or how
no, like he's living here, and Quebec is a small city, so everybody knows everybody, and we knew a little bit Renaud, so we met him, and
in February 2018, yeah. So he was in the camp, in Kutupalong camp, in February 2018. Then he came back, we spoke to him, and then the shooting took place in October 2018.
Okay. So, and the first idea was really to make a short film about the situation, to make it more known in Canada and in the world, if I understand it right.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And it's just so we thought about an idea for a short documentary, which is the vision that we discover in the Wandering Rohingya story. But as soon as after 2 days on site and the testimonies of the people we met, I told Mel, because we were talking every day, and I said, yeah, it's going to be bigger, but like longer, because there's too much to say, too much to see, too much to understand. And so that's why we thought that we were free, because we had no fund from any side. So we were free to do the length that we wanted, you know, and play with that. So.
And also the idea of, even with the short film, the idea we had was to be far from a journalistic approach. We didn't want to have like statistics. We just wanted to kind of make something very immersive, to make the spectator very live the camp, you know. And the idea of the ghost too, and the poetry, which is really part of the film, was there before the shooting. So we thought about that like while writing our ideas, and it was there before, and finally it happened. So yeah.
Okay, and because I think this is really a very interesting thing you said, that it was not a journalistic approach, because when I look at your film, I think it's more like a painting and less like a journalistic story. It's more like looking at the pictures and feeling what is life in camp, and what traumas are the people dealing with. And so my question is, how did you decide what to shoot? Did you do research, or how did you decide what? Because I think it's very, the pictures are really, you don't have the feeling that they are by chance. I think they are very, you knew what you wanted to do.
I would say yes and no. Actually, the idea of the film was to live, you know, like, because sometimes when we talk about tragedies like this, it's more on the news, really short, or and we dare to use art and cinema to present the reality. So we wanted to see the people live there, you know, child playing and kids being born and things like this, you know, women doing their daily life task. So this idea was there first. So we already knew that we wanted to show those moments of life in the camp, you know, talking about life, not only the tragedy itself, to see the paradox or the contrast between both. And then the idea of, for us, when we talked about the film, there was this idea of what we carry after a tragedy like this, what people carry maybe for generations on their shoulders, you know, the lost and the ghost of the past, the ghost, you know, the home that they lose, the lost, the place that they lost, the neighbors, and the friends, the parents that they lost. So we had this idea of those blurry images and things like this. but after that, you react on site also about what's going on, and we wanted some characters also to meet more characters. So we knew because of Renaud that this young boy was seeing ghosts every day, and on site also when we talked with people, they were telling us that also they were seeing ghosts. So yeah, it was the kind of mix of improvisation and ideas that we had before.
Okay.
Yeah, and also there's a lot of work on the editing, you know, because of course, like the images looks like if they have been chosen, but we worked a lot on the editing, a lot. Yeah.
So the film was made in the editing finally.
Yeah, actually, every part of this film was a big challenge, I would say.
Yes,
yeah.
I guess so. And
Yeah.
but you just said you talked to the people who lived there. How did you talk to them?
The first time Renaud went to the camp, he met as soon as he arrived in the camp, a refugee Rohingya named Kalam came to him and said, "Do you need a translator? I speak English." So Renaud said yes, and then they became friends. They spent a month there together. So when we went back, we contacted Kalam and he worked with us. Sometimes as a soundman, he did the interviews also as a translator. So we were with him in the camp, and he lived in the camp. So we met his friend, his families, things like this. So we really he's an important part of the film because as soon as we were entering in contact with people, they were surprised that we were guided by a refugee living in the camp. Yeah, so it's because of him that we could exchange, because nobody of us speak Rohingya, and
of course, yeah. And maybe this was a little bit trust as well for the inhabitants of the camp, because they saw that you were with one of them, and maybe it was easier for you to shoot because you had a guide with you that people trusted as well. Maybe it made things easier, because I guess you cannot be like a fly on the wall. Nobody sees you when you shoot in a camp like this. You were the only white people in the camp, maybe, besides, I don't know, the organizations who help, maybe, but...
Yeah, and the camp is so big, so we don't see many people from outside, even from some organization. You know, it's impressive how big this camp is, and also what I wanted to say is that like when we were with Kalam, what I was going to say, I just lost my idea.
When you were with Kalam, maybe he could guide you through this huge camp. He could give you orientation.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Sometimes I think that, you know, most of the journalists have came before, when it was the like when everybody, like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 of people were crossing every day. So like a lot of journalists were there and covered the thing, but it was sometimes really short, you know, and maybe it was special for them to see us with a Rohingya in the camp and sitting in the mud with the kids, watching them play for maybe sometimes hours, you know. So they were surprised to see you know, outsiders, or like sitting them and like waiting and watching what's going around. So it's a different kind of coverage, you know, when it's more informative. Those informations are important also, but we had a different approach where we really wanted to observe what is the life there, and that was the purpose of the film, you know.
Yes.
I was just wanted to add that it's bizarre, because before the shooting, we really had this idea of poetry in our head. You know, we wanted this film to be poetic in a way, even if the subject is tragic, because we think it's a way to give informations to. It's just different, you know, with emotion, with the immersion. And right after the shooting, Kalam started to write poetry. The Rohingya is not a written language; it's an oral language. So Kalam was writing his poem in English on Facebook, and when we saw that, we were exchanging a lot, and we still are. And Olivier just wrote to him and said, "Wow, your poems are amazing. Can you write a poem about for the movie?" You know, and that's how we started to write a poem on friendship, on love. On and freedom, and finally it's in the movie, and I think it's very I don't know, it's one of my favorite part of this project, because finally the poetry helps to very get a sensitive impression of what is it to live in a camp like that.
And
so
maybe,
yeah.
And Kalam discovered his poetry via your film maybe as well, because it gave him ideas what to write about and how to express his feelings. And the poems are really, really important in this film, I think. They are like the core of the film.
Of course, yeah, and finally the narration, you know, it's not Kalam who is speaking, it's a Rohingya from Quebec City whose name is Mohamed Shafi, and we met him right after the shooting. We worked with him for many months, and other Rohingya members of the community here for the translation part. And we did an exhibition about Wandering a Rohingya Story too in the National Museum here. And Shafi helped us, and we discovered he had a really
warm voice,
you know, and that's how he became the narrator of this film. And for him, he had to translate live the poems of Kalam, because it's the Rohingya it's not a written language. So all this process was a long and slow and very deep work with everybody. Like, I don't know, it was a very special moment. Yeah.
And you know, like for Shafi here in Quebec, he lived 18 years in the camp. So doing this narration, because it was really complicated at that time to go back and record Kalam's voice.
Of course.
In the camp in the camp there are so much noises, so it's impossible to create this warm atmosphere. So when we heard the Shafi's voice, for us, we thought it was the right direction, and it was really special to do the narration. We did the narration here at home, you know, instead of being in the studio where that you have to go fast and that cost a lot. So we were really in an intimate atmosphere, and we had a really strong exchanges beside also the narration, because it meant a lot for him, you know, translating live this thing, and for him it was really emotionally hard to narrate the film, you know. And sometimes I think sometimes he was closing his eyes to say the thing, and for him it was really special to narrate some parts of the film, you know.
Yes, I guess so. And I think you can feel it when you hear his voice in the film, how deeply he is touched as well as a narrator to talk his mother language. Yes.
Yeah, and he was very careful with all the words he was using, because sometimes there's some Bengali word in the Rohingya language, so he wanted to have only Rohingya word, you know, and so, and as Olivier said, he lived for 18 years. He arrived in the camp at the age of one month. Yeah. Anyway, so all his childhood was there. So, and for him, the camp was his life.
Of course.
And that's how this is all connected. Yeah.
Okay, this is interesting. And I wanted to talk about the children in the camp, because I think the children are a very important part of your film, and also the kites they use. Maybe can you tell us how did you the idea of really shooting them, having their kites, and because I think it's a symbol as well. It's not only the kites; it's more than that.
Yeah.
But for us, like for now, we have a project about education and about kids, and the last film, our last film before Wandering a Rohingya Story, it's called Québécoisie, and at the end we see a kid and it's so all of for us, it is really important. And when we thought about this film, for us, and when we thought about seeing life in the camp, we were thinking about those kids living those issues or tragedy, and like for me, a kid being born there with no nationality, and with no identity, that he can, can be sent there and like where I belong, like that's so it obsessed us in a way. And for us, seeing the kids in the camp was really, really important. Seeing them play, seeing them waiting or going to the food distribution with their parents and living this atmosphere. And I just
go.
I just let you go after. When we talked with Shafi, the narrator, that he lived here 18 years in the camp, and he lived in Quebec, but he lived 18 years in the camp, and he said, I miss the camp. It's strange because I miss the camp, and for me, it was the most beautiful childhood. No school. Playing with my friends in the mud, and that's what when he was saying those scenes where the kids are playing soccer, he said that's my life, and then he said, at one point I didn't understand what was going on, really, and I was free in a way, and then I became more suddenly. I grew up, then I understood what was this all about,
Mm-hmm. And it was very precious for us to have those scenes with the kids all along the movie, because it's kind of it's like magic for me. Like those kids, they are so light in a way, and at the same time they carry a very, very heavy past. And for the kites, of course, it's a huge symbol, because the kite is flying in the sky, but they still have the how do we say that, the rope, like the string that all the kite, so is free but not really at the same time, but the kite can see very far and not the kids. So yeah, the kites for us were a huge symbol, very important, and they do play a lot with kites too. So
and I don't know if I can say that, but because we are nominated for the award for the SOS Children.
Yes.
I don't know the exact translation,
right.
but and there's a scene in the film where a kid is drawing on a piece of paper, all the tragedy that he saw, and we were at SOS Children at that time. Because Renaud were in contact with them, and then they asked him to take a few pictures, and Renaud came to me and he said, because all the other children were drawing, flowers and things like this, and so there were about like SOS Children receiving during the day something like 60, 70 children, and they give like a small food to eat, and then make them do some activities. So the kids were drawing, and we saw that kid suddenly doing that drawing about all this tragedy, and for us it's so strong to see that this moment, and the kids say, like, I couldn't draw everything, the pages was not big enough, and that resume all this, for me, the kids there, all the kids are having, like they are free drawing, what's in their head, and suddenly this kid is just talking about his own story through drawing. So
absolutely,
that contrast meant a lot for us.
Yes. Yes, this scene is so touching, and so, because you feel everything this kid has gone through, and so you can see it in the picture, and he manages to talk about it. But how do you deal as filmmakers when you are confronted with this lot of suffering around you? How can you deal as a filmmaker? with it?
Yes, you know, when I came back, it was Mel said I was in kind of post-trauma because it's not my Renaud, I've been doing that for years. I know he's a documentary photographer and he's doing that for many times. And for me, it was really strange, and to edit, you know, in this comfortable house and drinking my coffee and hearing all the time those things. It was not an easy thing, and it's even doing a film about this issue and about this tragedy. You always wonder, you know, like why I'm doing this and what I want to, like, am I allowed to show this, and how I want to do it, and how I want to show this, and with who I work with, and so it's many questions that like come back and to your head, and so you at one point, I guess you have to decide, like, yes, I think we need to do it, and like we will do it like this, but it's a fine line, I think, when you deal with such a tragedy.
Yeah, it's not, and even it's very bizarre because the movie won some awards and has a great nomination here in Canada, and at the same, we are very happy, but we are not doing this for that. Yes. Of course. And so we are happy because this helps to talk about the movie and the subject, but at the same time, when we exchange with Kalan, or when we think about there were huge fires in the Kutupalong camp in the past weeks that destroyed many tents. It's very bizarre because we feel very privileged. I know it's a word that is common right now, but at the same time we try to make our best. So yeah, as Olivier said, it's a very thin line, but I think the approach we took with the poetic and very immersive is very different, and we know with this movie we will not change the politic of Bangladesh or Myanmar, of course, but we hope that maybe a person that will have seen this movie, after, if he encounter a refugee in the street or at the market, or you will have some images in his head. And I often talk about doors that are opening in our heart and in our mind, and I hope this movie does something like this to open some doors in our heart. And if me or you or my mother encounter a refugee, she will have those images, and maybe she will think, well, this person has probably a huge story that I know anything about, and I have to open my heart, you know. So that's a bit the way we try to make this film, you know.
And art is not, it's hard also because art is not something you can not calculate what is the impact on people. So in a way you have to decide, do you do it or not, and then you believe that it will have the impact you want to have with the film or the painting or the, I don't know, the photography or so. But it is still, for me, I don't know for you, but for me it is hard in a way to believe, to say yes, and that question always come back, you know.
Yes. And how, as a German public, how can we help if we want to help directly in the camp? You said there were huge fires in the last week, and so I guess people still need a lot of help there.
Yes, but it's very difficult because of the COVID, because of everything. I know that right now the UNHCR, like the High Commissioner Refugee of the United Nations, try to go there, and so I guess you can, maybe there's a way to give money, but like it's very complex.
Okay.
It is very complex, and that's why we feel so comment dire in English, like without resources, because what to do, you know. So that's why we did this film, but like it's very it's not easy to do direct actions. Yeah.
But maybe through your film you can direct actions, because through someone sees it and someone reacts.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
But
maybe
there are,
this is
That's what
the
we
aim,
hope, yeah.
the important aim
and
about it.
Yeah.
and there are many organizations, you know, that work on site, like UNHCR, SOS Children, or others,
Yes.
and so I guess you can, in a way, do research and choose to help in a certain way. But it is not only a film about the Rohingyas itself and this camp itself. It's a film about human conditions.
Yes.
So for us, it's also a film about refugees at large, in a way, and the impact that when some when
Such a tragedy,
when society decide take some decision and do something, then it has an impact for on many people for
Yes.
generations. And
Yes.
so yeah.
And this is what you tell through your film, I think. And my last question is, what you told me that you're working on an educational theme now. What is your new project then?
Yeah, maybe Emil, you can come. You can come. He's over, and it's with him.
He was around and
He was around.
wanted to hug us.
So it's very special because I went to DOK.fest Munich not last year, but the year before to talk about this project at the market.
Oh, okay.
And it's called Deep Inside Humanity. And we were supposed to film 4 kids around the world. So one in Quebec City with our son, Emil, and one in Haiti, one in Nepal, and one in Palestine. So we started the shooting in Quebec, but when we were supposed to go to Nepal in April, the pandemic situation was all over. So we had to cancel all those international shootings. And finally, we are working with Emil. He is our co-director. And it's a movie, it's a film about transmission, education, and we want to have a reflection how this kid was learning to write and read, see the world, and how does he build his vision of the world.
Okay.
So we film at child height. We try to. Right now it's quite complicated because of all the virtual school, homeschooling, and
of course.
But we're shooting for almost 2 years now, and we'll finish the shooting this summer. And yes, and Emil also that's what he was telling me.
He started filming with us and thinking about what could be the introduction of the film, the conclusion of the film. So it's interesting to work.
Okay. How old are you now, Emile?
How old are you?
Quel âge as-tu? Tu as 8 ans. 8 years?
Yes.
Okay.
So we started the shooting, he was 6. So it's very interesting because we see the evolution,
Yes.
and the way he builds his vision of the world. And so...
And it's a confronting project also, we seem to choose a hard subject in a way that, like, even it was hard to do a film on this tragic, story in the camp, the refugee. Now we're filming ourselves and filming our son.
And that wasn't the plan.
That wasn't really the plan at the beginning, but and it's really confronting also to
make sure to find
how you do it, why you do it,
Yes.
and
I guess.
yeah.
That's
and
really interesting.
to be very ethic and follow him too, and his little daughter. So yeah.
So we're looking forward to this next film.
Yes, we hope we'll have the chance to present it at DOK.fest Munich,
Yes,
of course.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So thank you very, very much for your beautiful and really, really touching film. All the best.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot, and thanks to you. We know it's the first goal of this movie is to be shown. We want to reach an audience. So for us, it's a huge privilege to have our movie at DOK.fest Munich, and it's an honor to. And thanks for all the effort around this very special edition. We know it's a lot of work. I work for a cinema festival here in Quebec, and I know this is a lot of work. So thank you so much. Yeah.
And for us, most of our films raise questions more than they answer the questions. And so I think Wandering Rohingya Story is one of the films that you can go forward and learn more. So I hope this film will bring you meaning, reflections and encounters also. So
yes, that's right. So thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. And to the audience, don't forget to vote for the Audience Award if you like the film. If you haven't seen it yet, it will stay online until I think it's the 23rd of May. It will be online, so you have a lot of time to watch it. And we are very happy to see you often at DOK.fest.